This is a story about nullifying an election by a city mayor and again, nullifying legislative authority by judicial overreach. An elected city council member with over 2 decades of service and consistent re-election by substantial margins was effectively silenced by the newly elected mayor who would not allow the city council member to speak or bring motions for over 2 years. The city council member, having personally exhausted all other attempts to have his rights as a city council member restored, contacted an attorney about what else could be done. The attorney informed the city council member that the state had a statute which provided relief for exactly this situation and agreed to take on the case pro bono. The attorney drafted a letter to the mayor informing him that legal action would be taken if he continued to silence the council member. The mayor refused to relent in his illegal behavior. The attorney followed all the requirements of the state statute and filed the case in the local court. At the hearing, the mayor did not refute any of the charges against him. However, the judge denied the temporary suspension of the mayor, which was required by law under the circumstances. Seeing the writing on the wall, the attorney withdrew the case. Unfortunately, the case did not end there. Beyond continuing to silence the council member, and in retaliation for the lawsuit, several city officials manufactured charges against the council member to ruin his reputation. Those false charges resulted in him losing his license to practice psychology, ending his employment as a college professor, devastating his finances, and eventually ending his decades-old marriage. The city officials even had the gall to file the exact same style of case against the council member that the judge had just refused to enforce against the mayor. Additionally, the lawyers for the mayor sued the pro bono attorney, wrongfully accusing him of fraud on the court and stating that his case was without merit from the beginning. Those false charges went back to the judge, who had not followed the law at the previous hearing. And despite more than ample evidence that the case had merit and that the facts asserted were undisputed, the judge sanctioned the attorney. The sanctions order factually found that the councilman's lawyer had intentionally committed fraud on the court, that the ouster lawsuit never had any merit in law or fact, and imposing over $70,000 in fines against the pro bono lawyer. Thankfully, the appellate court later cleared the lawyer of the fraud charges, concluding that the evidence supported the lawsuit against the mayor and that the evidence did not support the intentional fraud allegations against the lawyer. Unfortunately, the appellate court findings came 2 years too late. The damage had already been done. The message was clear. The local powers that be can rule over the citizens and fellow elected officials regardless of what the law says. When citizens go to court over clear violations of the law by government officials, judges can refuse to enforce the law in order to protect them and will punish the citizens for attempting to have the law enforced. This is yet again another example of judicial overreach and nullification of legislative authority. The 3 branches of our government rely on each branch staying within their authority and respecting the constitutional roles of the other branches. We have a long history in this country of the judicial branch, checking the legislative and executive branches, but unfortunately, we have little history of the judicial branch itself being reined in by anyone. Sadly, at this point, stories like the one shared here are becoming increasingly common because the judicial branch has become comfortable with the idea of ignoring the authority of the other 2 branches. We must create national awareness of this threat to our freedom and have a national conversation about how to correct our course. This is the work of the Foundation for Judicial Reform. Please follow us at judicialreformfoundation.org and share our work as we press forward. Thank you for your support.